Well, here we go again. Mark Carney, Canada's Prime Minister, has jetted off back to Toronto for a 2-day cabinet retreat. How nice. Another retreat, and the summer is just coming to a close. They're calling it strategy sessions, of course, and I call it exactly what it is, which is smoke and mirrors. Another couple of days of political theater in hotel ballrooms, pretending that they're building a roadmap for Canada when really they're just scrambling to cover the fact that the summer went horrifically bad for them and that everything is already falling apart here in Canada again. They're not meeting because they're organized, folks. They're meeting because they're panicked. The fall session of Parliament is just around the corner on September 15th, and Donald Trump's tariff storm is escalating rather than de escalated and solved like Mark Carney promised, and the budget still nowhere to be found. And so Carney, well, guess what? He has no clue how to steer this ship. Let's go.
This is Bakes on Things, the political commentary show Canada didn't know it needed. Nothing is off limits. This isn't mainstream media. Welcome to Bakes on Things.
And welcome back to Bakes on Things. And according to the Prime Minister's office, the retreat that they're on right now is supposed to focus on 4 things: fast-track major project approvals, building affordable housing, expanding the defense industry, and helping sectors hurt by U.S. tariffs. Sounds impressive, doesn't it? Sounds like they've got a plan, perhaps. But here's the problem. It's Mark Carney, and Carney has been in power for months now, really close to 175 days, and what do we actually have to show for it? Fast-tracking projects is a promise we've heard since the Trudeau era, and we haven't seen anything. Housing affordability is a crisis that has only gotten worse year after year, and defense expansion, well, I mean, really, Canada has been pledging this NATO 2% GDP target for decades now. And every time a liberal stands at a podium, they say the exact same thing. We're working on it. And helping industries devastated by tariffs? Well, you promised to get rid of those tariffs, so that's not forward-looking policy. That's a damage control mop-up. After Carney and his so-called allies in the Liberal Party have failed to negotiate anything meaningful whatsoever with Donald Trump. Now, here's the thing. We're in a bit of a trade trap. This is the big one. The United States and the United States-Canada-Mexico agreement, CUSMA, expires in 2026. The problem is that Carney is only advancing the beginnings of preparations for the renegotiation of this for the 2026 review. I want you to think about that for a second, because we're not even talking about negotiations for CUSMA, not even strategy on how we as a country are going to approach it, just the beginnings of preparation. Meanwhile, we've got Dougie Ford himself that's warning Donald Trump is not going to wait. And he's going to do this on his own terms this fall, whether Canada is ready or not. And Carney, he's been on photo op tours in Europe all summer talking about ports and submarines. Trump plays hardball all the time. We know this. Carney plays PowerPoint. That's how he works. The imbalance here is absolutely staggering. And let's not forget the U.S. is our largest trading partner. We can't just get rid of them. If Trump is serious, and history shows he always is for the most part, then Carney waiting until 2026 is like watching a hurricane form on the radar, seeing it coming straight for your house, and deciding you'll start looking for sandbags in a few years. Absolute asinine negligence is what this is. That's all you can call it. Then there's the so-called budget. Remember, Carney delayed it back in the spring? Why? Well, he said it was premature because of Trump's trade uncertainty. Translation, he didn't have the guts to table a budget that would show Canadians just how deep in the red ink we actually truly are. And now, in October, we're going to be prepped for a higher deficit. We'd have to be. What a surprise. This is the liberal playbook every single time. Kick the can down the road, pretend you're fiscally disciplined, then dump an ocean of debt on the country when the headlines are too chaotic for anyone to notice. And Carney is trying to sell himself as the disciplined economist here. He uses words that you would think would make you feel more comfortable, like operating balance and investing and finding cost savings. But here's the reality. This man is pledging new defense spending, massive infrastructure announcements, housing programs, and now tariff bailouts for the fact that he failed in tariff reduction negotiations, all while deficits are still climbing. It's like watching someone promise to diet while double fisting cheeseburgers. It just doesn't work that way. I mean, look at me. I know. And so here's the thing. We move over to housing, and now we've got an even bigger problem. And let's talk about affordable housing for a second. How many times have we heard this one? Because that's what they're talking about at this retreat, supposedly. Every liberal retreat, though, since 2015 has included the phrase affordable housing. And yet, the market has never been more out of reach for ordinary Canadians. Carney and his crew think that they can wave a legislative wand and suddenly houses will pop up out of the ground like mushrooms after rain. Perhaps the Lorax will too, but housing requires land. It requires materials, it requires labor, and most importantly, the political courage to actually push municipalities and provinces to stop dragging their feet. Instead, what we will get is the same tired announcement. Billions promised, ribbon cutting staged on fake digs, and in the end, only a fraction of those units will ever see themselves built. Meanwhile, immigration numbers keep rising, demand keeps skyrocketing, and the average family is left wondering if their kids will ever be able to own a home in this country. Housing affordability in Canada has become the cruelest inside joke in politics across the world, and Carney's cabinet retreat will not change any of that. It's not changing this week. It's not changing ever because they're meetings about meetings about meetings. That's the way this all works. And then we go to defense. Carney wants to prove he's serious about NATO. He talks about meeting that 2% GDP target. But let's remember something here. Canada has been freeloading under the U.S. security umbrella for decades. And every Liberal PM has promised to fix that. What Carney will actually do is splash money on flashy announcements like submarines, for example, in Germany or in Korea. I don't know why we can't just build them here, or ports or military factories that take years to materialize. He wants the optics of strength without the substance. Meanwhile, Trump has been crystal clear. Allies who don't pay up can't expect American protection forever. So Carney is caught between a NATO he keeps promising to satisfy and an America that isn't buying excuses anymore from this country. The bill is coming due, and Carney knows it, and that's why he's been hiding. It's why they went on a 12-week vacation. But that vacation is ending next week, and something needs to be done. And then we've got Dougie Ford. Because Doug Ford is a story all unto himself. The so-called conservative who spends more time carrying Carney's water than protecting Ontario. Ford at least admits that Trump won't wait until 2026 to reopen Kuzma. He sees the freight train coming, but instead of pressing Carney to act now, Ford is dumping out Crown Royal. He's still playing along with Mark Carney, nodding his head like a loyal sidekick, content to let Ottawa call the shots. This is what passes for leadership in Canada right now. A guy dumping out liquor onto the cement. Liberal Prime Minister too timid to act, and a provincial premier too afraid to contradict him, so spend more time yelling and screaming about Crown Royal. I mean, you can't make this stuff up in Canada. That's the thing. And we've got these cabinet retreats happening, which are all symbolism over substance. So let's not kid ourselves. These retreats are never about policy. They are about stage managing the narrative. They are about making it look like the government is in full control when they're not. Carney's cabinet huddling in Toronto is no different from Trudeau's old photo ops in resort towns. They'll take a few staged pictures around a big boardroom table, as they always do, issue vague press releases to the CBC about progress and moving forward, and then quietly head back to Ottawa with absolutely nothing solved. If Mark Carney were serious about this country right now, if he was serious about our success, he wouldn't be hiding in retreats. He'd be standing up in front of Canadians with a concrete plan ready to manage and get rolling September 15th. He'd be telling us how he's going to handle Trump's tariffs from here on out, how he's going to slash the deficit, how he's going to build houses that real people can afford, how he's going to help you afford groceries. Instead, we continuously and endlessly get platitudes and Mark Carney placeholders. Who among us is tired of this now? So, as Parliament prepares to return on September 15th, remember this. Carney's retreat is not about planning Canada's future. It's about buying time. It's about controlling our headlines. It's about pretending there's a strategy when there probably isn't. Canada doesn't need another retreat. Canada needs action. Canada needs to stop talking about meetings and actually take the action that was proposed in those meetings. Leadership theater. Trump in the eye of the storm. He tackles debt head on. That builds housing with urgency, and that stops using NATO as a photo op for him. Why can't we do the same things? But with Carney at the helm, all we get are retreats, delays, announcements about announcements, and broken promises. And that's why, once again, the world doesn't take Canada seriously. I don't care who you think you are and what you think you've seen on the CBC. We are always left footing the bill as citizens in this country. So tell me, what do you think, folks? Is this cabinet retreat just another Liberal stage play? Make a comment down below and get involved in this conversation. Or do you honestly believe that Mark Carney's crew has the guts to take on Trump starting this Wednesday and Thursday at this retreat? Maybe balance a budget and build homes before your kids hit middle age. Drop those thoughts and those comments down below. Hit that like button. And if you are as sick of the smoke and mirrors as I am, make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe for more Bakes on Things, because if there's one thing I'll keep hammering on all of these episodes, in this country, politics isn't about planning anymore. We're done with the planning. 175 days of planning. And right now it feels like it's about pretending. And Canada deserves better. We'll see you tomorrow.